If you have ever finished a webinar and thought, okay, now I have to watch the whole thing again to figure out what was actually important, this video is for you. In this guide, I'm going to show you 2 easy ways to turn a webinar into a useful summary and a list of key highlights. The first option is using the repurpose AI feature in Contrast webinars, and the second option is using Claude. If you host your webinars in Contrast webinars, this is probably the fastest way to do this. Once your webinar is finished, Contrast gives you access to all the webinar content, including the transcript, recording, poll answers, chat, and everything. And instead of manually going through a 45-minute or 1-hour long webinar, you can use the repurpose AI feature to quickly understand what happened or to get more content from your webinar. To get a summary or key highlights from your webinar, open your webinar in Contrast webinars, click on the highlights, and wait a few seconds while it generates your webinar highlights. You can see that inside the highlights, it also gave us a short summary of the whole webinar, and you can actually use it to add a summary to the webinar landing page, give people who missed the webinar a quick way to catch up, create internal notes for your sales or marketing team, write a follow-up emails, and a lot more. Now let's look at the second option, which is creating the same thing with Claude. If you run webinars regularly, I recommend creating a Claude project specifically for webinar repurposing. That way you can keep your webinar transcripts, brand guidelines, audience information, and everything together inside the instructions. You can then use the same project every time you run a webinar. Now let me open Claude. If you are creating a new project, go to the project, click on the new project button, give it a name, and click create project. If it's a one-time thing, you don't need a project. You just want to use the chat inside Claude. So just open the chat and upload your webinar transcript. I'm going to add my webinar transcript. Give it a prompt. I already have my prompt ready. Once we get the result, we can tell Claude what the summary is for. For example, we can tell it that this is for people who didn't attend the webinar, so we need a summary for them. Or we can even tell it to focus on pain points, objections, customer challenges, statistics, and insights that could be useful in sales conversations. You can see that the webinar is the same. I'm using the same webinar transcript here. But based on your prompt, Claude is going to give you different outputs. So you can use Contrast webinars to quickly access and work from your webinar content, or you can use Claude to turn your transcript into a structured summary and content map. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.